DreAllDay.com.
You are now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And we put all this together into one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one framework, one approach, one daily masterclass that you are listening to right now that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is how to keep going. How can you push yourself or pull yourself or just have the motivation within, the inspiration within, the energy, the whatever you want to call it, the impetus to keep going, keep moving, continue moving forward, continue making progress, or at least angling for progress, or looking for progress, or seeking to create progress. How do you keep going in life? Now, why is this even a topic? Why do we need a topic on how to keep going? Those of you right now who find yourself, maybe you find that you're in great momentum right now in your career, or in your education, or in your whatever project or vocation, or in your business. If you're on momentum right now, maybe you don't really need a masterclass on how to keep going, because the momentum is moving you forward on its own. It's creating an energy in itself. But what about those times? And for those of you who right now are in a situation where you're kind of, you may not even be stuck, but maybe you're not that excited about what's going on. Maybe you are excited about the big picture of what you aim to do, but right now things ain't going so smooth. Right now you got a little bit of friction that you had to deal with. Right now things are not quite turning over the way that you expected them to turn over when you got started. What about when you're in that situation? How can you keep yourself going? Now, before I get even any more into this introduction, let me remind you that I have a text number where you will be texting me and telling me what's the best thing that you got from this episode, the most relevant idea, the most golden nugget that you heard me share here today, or something that you're going to think about differently or do differently based on what you heard. My number is 305-384-6894. Once again, 305-384-6894. You can send me a text message right now and let me know what is the best thing you got from this episode or any other episode of this show. It doesn't have to just be from today. But we all understand with this concept of how to keep going, life is a battle. All right, and we know, even those of you who are in great momentum right now and things are working for you, things are popping off for you right now, you remember the times, and you can recall situations in which there were challenges and you maybe weren't even quite sure how you would handle them, or maybe you knew how you would handle them, but you weren't excited about what you were going to need to do in order to handle those challenges. So how do we get it in our minds to keep at it in the midst of these inevitable challenges that will come up in life? So for those of you who are already in a challenge, you need this right now today. For those of you who are maybe not in a challenge right now, you know that you've been in them before, and you know that you'll probably be in one again, even if it's not your fault or not your doing or your hope that it happens again. We know it's going to happen because this is just how life is. So let's make sure that we get this all out there on the table here today, shall we? Point number one, the topic once again is how to keep going. First thing you got to do, you got to emphasize managing your energy. This is one of the most important things that you're going to need when it comes to the long game that we're all playing here. The long game called life, or the long game called business, or the long game called your career out here. You're going to need to manage your energy because you want to be able to keep going through those rough patches. It's easy to keep going when everything's working, right? Through the smooth patches where you're kind of running downhill, it seems like you don't even need energy. But what about those uphill climbs? You're going to need it for that. So you don't want to be the front running type of individual who only has good energy when everything's working, but when nothing's working, you just can't even bring yourself to show up to work. I talked about the many stages of the marathon in episode 1457, and also in episode number 1044, how to finish the marathon strong, and in episode 360, that life is a marathon. So that long run of life that you're going to be on. I also talked about in episode 314, how to play and win the long game of life. In episode 254, long-term success requires long-term work. One more, episode 232, how long are you willing to work without recognition? In episode 116, winning in the long run. All of these things are stuff that you need to think about, and think about now so that you're prepared for when you hit those rough patches, when you hit those uphill climbs in your life. Managing your energy is one of the things that will help you here. What do I mean by managing your energy? Is mental and physical and emotional and spiritual. I'm talking about all of those energies. So just how you feel with your body, how you're feeling in the way that you think, how you are able to regulate and control and direct your emotions, and just your spiritual energy. How are you just feeling from your core? How's your soul feeling about what you have going on and where you're headed, or at least where you think you're headed, or where you want to be headed? All of these are interconnected. When you don't feel that good mentally, it's hard to bring yourself to do what you need to do physically, even though you may be in perfect shape. Or if you're not feeling so good physically, your mind probably is not going to be able to move you to do the actions that you need to do because your physical is not feeling good. Or if you're in a negative or unresourceful emotional or spiritual state, even though your body may be in, again, perfect condition, and maybe mentally you're thinking about all the right things and hearing all the right things and reading all the right things, it's hard for you to move yourself to action. So all of these things are interconnected. So you got to make sure you have them all aligned. Sleeping is something that can help with your physical and mental. It actually can help with all of these emotions. Sleeping. Eating. What are you putting into your body? Also, your drinking. What are you putting into your body on a consistent basis? Your overall just nutrition decisions that you are making, because our nutrition is a decision. What choices are you making in the kitchen? I've heard people who help people work on their bodies, so physical therapists or personal trainers, say that yes, of course you need to go in the gym and work out and move your body. We all understand that. But when I heard someone talking about abs, like people want to have 6-pack abs or 8-pack or 12-pack abdominal muscles, the thing is, abs are made in the kitchen. At least that's what I've heard the personal trainer say. Now, I understand, and I think we should all understand, and we're just talking about, let's just say something like muscles, just being ripped or having that toned look that I hear a lot of people talk about. When I used to work at gyms as a personal trainer or a salesperson, the females often would say something about wanting to get a toned look, and then the males would say something like they want to get either lose weight or they want to be more muscular. They want their muscles to show off a lot more. Well, the thing is, all of us have the same muscles. Everybody has 8-pack abs or 6-pack or 12-pack, however many you got in that pack there in your stomach. Everybody has them. It's just some people's show and some people's don't. And what I've heard seasoned trainers say is that it's the stuff that you put in your body that determines whether your abs are showing or they're not showing. Now, of course, lifting weights can help, but it's what you're putting in your body. And I'm sharing all that all under this umbrella here of managing your energy. Stress management. How are you dealing with stress? Do you deal with stress? What do you do when you are faced with stress in your life? I talked about how to remain positive and calm when everyone is anxious and stressed in episode 1450. Episode 1348, creating and using eustress in your life. Eustress is a different type of stress, not YOU stress, but EU stress. That's all one word, and that is a real thing. And that is the kind of stress that you actually want to put yourself in voluntarily, because that's the stress that makes you better, makes you stronger, such as the stress of going to the gym and lifting weights. It's not easy to lift weights, but you put yourself under that stress on purpose because you know it's going to make you better. That is a form of eustress. Episode 718, where I talked about the mental distress being a sign of weakness, not just stress overall, but that mental distress. In episode 351, stress testing yourself. In episode 1691, 3 keys to eliminating stress and anxiety, at least the bad type of stress and anxiety. Focus. Where's your focus at? We all know that what we focus on, we create. So if you look at your life right now, there are plenty of things that are going great. And if you focus on those, your energy will probably go up. And there are plenty of areas of your life that are, let's just call rooms or areas for improvement, where things could be a lot better, where things are definitely not ideal right now. If you focus on those, you probably start feeling like shit. So what are you focused on a consistent basis? This definitely, not it can, but it does definitely affects your spiritual and emotional energy. Remember that energy is 85% of the job in life. And depending on who you ask, that number could be higher. It could be 90, 99% of the job in life. The energy that you have basically determines what you're going to focus on. It determines whether you are feeling a negative type of stress or a positive type of stress, whether you will be able to bring yourself to use the energy that you have, to use the resources that you do have access to, but can you actually bring yourself to pick those resources up and do something with them? When I talk about the concept of confidence, that the higher your level of confidence is kind of like having a master key that can open more doors to access all the skills that you have in life. When your confidence is not at its best level, or your discipline, or your overall resourcefulness is not at its peak level, it's not that you've lost your ability to do things. It's just that you can't access the ability. It's like you got some valuable things inside of a room of your house, yet you lost the key to the room and the door's locked. So it's still yours, but you just can't get to it, and that leads to a high level of frustration. And I know there are many people listening to me right now who know exactly what I'm talking about. So with energy being 85% of your life, or 85% of your job, rather, don't leave it to chance. Don't leave your energy to chance. You must be intentional about having the right energy. How can you be intentional about having the right energy? You need to make sure you have routines, plans, and just standard operating procedures, if you will, for how you sleep, what are you putting in your body, your overall nutrition, how you manage stress, what you focus on. So all of those things contribute to where your energy is at. So if you ever found, or if you find in your life right now that your energy is kind of up and down, it's almost like you're on a roller coaster. Some days you feel good, some days you feel terrible, some days you feel like you can take on the world and do everything, and some days you're like, man, why did I even decide to do this or even commit to this thing right here? I don't know if I can do it for another 5 minutes. If you're finding that you're having those up and downs, that's because you have not created routines and processes for managing your energy. And you can choose to do that right now. Open up the notes document or Evernote or whatever on your phone, send yourself an email, and just come up with some standard operating procedures. In other words, for those who not familiar with that term, just some processes. What are you going to do to manage your energy? What time are you going to go to sleep every day? How many hours you need to sleep every night? What are you going to eat on a consistent basis? What are you going to stop eating? What are you going to focus on? What are you going to stop focusing on? These are choices that you make, people. These are not random things that just occur in your life. But you have to make these choices. And we have a masterclass on that very topic coming up very soon. So point number 2, today's topic again is how to keep going in life. Have a mission. Have a goal, an objective, meaning something that is a bigger picture outcome that you are aiming to get to. While what you're doing today might be recording an episode of your show or writing a blog post or delivering a session to one of your clients, or going to the gym and lifting weights, or another day at school, or another day you're showing up to the job and doing what you got to do. Have a bigger picture outcome that you're after that is bigger than just what you're doing in a moment. It's bigger than what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Like, it's fun if you're an in-shape person to go to the gym every day and work out and lift weights and be in shape. But what's the bigger picture outcome that you want to get to? For someone like myself, for example, even though I don't play professional sports anymore, if I'm going to be going to the gym consistently, which I am, I want to have something that I can aim at in the future. I want to have something that I can look towards and say, all right, in 3 months, I'm going to do this. Or if I'm going to go and lift weights and run a few times every week, all right, let me go sign up for a little road race, a 10K race or something like that. Not even that I need to win the entire race. Maybe I'll try to win my age group. Maybe I'll try to beat the time that I did last time. Something that I can aim towards. I need a bigger mission than just doing the thing over and over and over again. But that's just the way that I think. I don't know if you think the same way, but you can let me know when you send me a text. It can be difficult for us to do something and follow a routine, follow a process or discipline over and over and over and over again ad nauseum if we don't know this is leading to something. What is it leading to that's a bigger outcome than just doing the thing? If you are an entrepreneur, and let's say you have people working for you and they have routine tasks that they're going to be doing as part of their job over and over, it would be really good for you to let them know what's the bigger picture outcome that your business, that your organization is trying to get to, so that they can be driven by more than, okay, I need to copy and paste these documents 3 times every single week, which I'm sure they'll do in order to get the check. Maybe they'll do it because they enjoy the job. Maybe they'll do it because that's what their natural inclination is. But eventually, I think any human being is eventually going to get bored by just doing the same thing over and over again if there's no bigger picture outcome that it's leading towards. And if you happen to be working at an organization and you have one of those jobs where you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's hard to keep doing that job at your best level if you can't point it towards some bigger picture outcome that you're looking to get to. So any of you who's the head of an organization, I don't care if it's a sports team, if you're running a small business, if you're the CEO of a large corporation, you want the people who work there to know, or the people who are playing there, who are part of that group, to know, here's the bigger picture. Here's where we're headed in the long run. Yes, this is what we're going to do on a day-to-day basis, but here's what we're going to do this week, this month, this quarter, this year. Here's what we're trying. Here's the bigger mission, that the big thing that we're trying to do just as an organization, our overall virtue, our overall mission that we're looking to achieve all the time. And your piece person who's manning our social media account, is to make sure this is handled so that we can get to this bigger picture. And your piece, person over here who's cleaning the bathrooms, your piece is to make sure that the bathrooms stay clean so that all of us can still keep focused on this bigger mission. Even though what you're doing may seem like a very small piece of it, you don't say that to them, but they can maybe look at it and see it as a very small piece of what they're doing. I'm only doing this thing. It's part of the puzzle of the bigger picture that everybody's trying to get to. Having a mission, that's what all this is about. And if it's just you right now, going after whatever you're going after in your life, maybe you don't have a thing that you're going after, then let's back up. What is that mission? What is that overall goal? What is that main objective that you're after in your life? Any kind of work can be fun for a finite period of time when you're just doing the work, whatever doing the work may be for you. For example, writing an article or having a podcast or making videos or doing speeches or getting coaching clients or selling your products, whatever it happens to be. Any kind of work can be fun for a short period when you're just doing that thing over and over again, especially hopefully if it's working. But it's a lot easier to keep doing a job when there's a bigger target to aim at in addition to just the job itself. As I told you, for example, I like to run outside just for exercise. I run early in the mornings. Nobody out there. Nobody's watching me. There's no audience for me to perform for. But every now and then, I may say, all right, let me go do a marathon. Or let me go sign up for a 10K race just so I can give myself something to aim at. So I can give myself, all right, here's a competition coming up. Now there's going to be other runners. Let me see if I can beat these guys. When we have a mission as human beings, when there's a mission for us to complete, we can surprise ourselves with our ingenuity and creativity. And since we can do it to ourselves, other people do it as well. We are all wired like this. And when you give people a mission, even if you don't tell them exactly how we're going to get to it, when people can see that bigger picture, it moves them to action. It inspires them, it motivates them, and it'll get them to follow you. This is what any of you who has ever followed a political campaign for any candidate, the winners, they all do this. They give their audience a mission. This is the outcome that we're after. And they may not even be able to, or they may never even need to articulate exactly how they're going to achieve it. And they may never actually even achieve it because it may be so ethereal that you can't even hold it in your hands. Not even really a tangible thing, but that mission is what drives people to follow. When they can see a bigger picture than just, hey, vote for me so I can become mayor, or I can become part of the city council, or I can become president. This is the bigger picture that we're going to achieve, and voting me president is just part of the plan. So all you need to do is do that, and now we're going to move to the next step, and the next step, and the next step. So you have to give them, or give yourself, and actually not or, but and, you got to give other people and yourself a goal, an overall objective to get to. This will help you keep your energy up, and it will definitely help you keep going because the goal will be bigger than just the day-to-day work. Point number 3. Today's topic again is how to keep going in life. Get help. Another thing you can do to keep going in life is get help. All right, you do not have to go the whole journey by yourself. As a matter of fact, you probably should not go the whole journey by yourself. Now, while there will be times in life that you may be by yourself, and that's okay. That's part of the process as well. And there are certain things in your overall mission that you're probably going to have to do by yourself because nobody else can do them. You don't have to do the whole thing. You don't have to do everything by yourself. And help, when I say help, doesn't necessarily mean a bunch of other people. Help exists in many forms besides just people or an individual person, let's just say, doing work. A mastermind. When you get together with other people who are not necessarily doing what you're doing, they're not part of your team and you're not part of their team, but you share each other's minds. You share with them what ideas you have, they share their ideas, and the two of you together, a mastermind could be 2 people, it could be 10 people, it could be 100 people. The 2 people together in a mastermind can produce a third mind. That's the concept of a mastermind, why it's called a mastermind. When 2 people put their heads together in a spirit of harmony, they can produce ideas that neither of them could have produced on their own because of the synergy between those 2 people. This is the whole 1 + 1 = 3 metaphor. That when you put 2 together, it creates a third when they're together. But when you separate them apart, then they're just both one again, all over again. So a mastermind is one way. Finding coaches and mentors, people who can help direct your energy and show you which direction to go so you don't make the same mistakes that others make when they don't have that coach or mentor. Those of you who are content creators, for example, when you read the comments and reviews of your work, Hopefully those comments and reviews encourage you to keep creating, because now you know through the comments that people are getting value from what you're sharing. So I'm the type of person who does that as well. I like to read my comments. I like to see what people are saying and letting me know, like, yo, I'm getting value from that. I like what you said in this episode, or I got a question about what you said here. That gives me, first of all, lets me know that there are people paying attention, lets me know that it's reaching people, and also may even stimulate an idea for some future material. All that being said, that's a hint to all of you who are listening who has not yet done it. Leave a review of the show so that I know that you're listening and I know what you're getting from it. If you sell stuff, same thing. When people leave reviews of your products and your services, the sales are great, of course, but the reviews after the purchase are just as good, because it lets you know as the salesperson what's going on, and it lets the consumers know when you respond to what they say that you're actually paying attention to what they say and they're actually being heard. When you have other people who believe in your vision and your goal and they want to come with you, let them come with you. Give them a way to be involved. Even if you can't give them a job, even if you can't, whatever it is they're asking for, you may not be able to do exactly that, but give them a way to follow along with where you're going. They can pick up and do some things for you, some things with you. When people want to be involved, let them be involved. That is the help that can work in your favor. And again, it doesn't have to be something like, all right, they come live in a house with you. What it means is, all right, give people a way to give you feedback. Give people a way to communicate with you. Give people a way to know that whatever feedback they share is actually being paid attention to, even if you don't do exactly what they say. Let them know that you're hearing them. That is a way of letting people help you. And every person on this planet, regardless of their level of whatever they have or whatever they've done, what they've achieved, everybody wants to be heard. When you let people know that you're paying attention to them, you're letting them come along on the journey with you. So this is another way to help yourself keep going, is basically leveraging other people. Like we talked about in the DJ Khaled masterclass not too long ago, that one of the things DJ Khaled is great at is building those relationships, and not only with the artists that get on his songs, but also with his audiences. That's one of the things that made him so popular. He's been out for a while, but it's when he started getting on social media and bringing people along on the journey of what he was doing, that's got more people excited about him. Not necessarily because his music became so much better, it's because he's doing the same thing he's always been doing for over 15 years. But what got people more excited was the fact that he was taking everyone along on the journey. So you felt like you were a part of what he was doing, even if you hadn't heard it yet, even if you're not a big fan of the song he was putting out. Because he brought you along on the journey, you felt like you needed to know what it was because you've been following it all along. That's the completion mindset that human beings have. And you can leverage this the same way that Khaled has. Let's recap today's class, which is how to keep going in life. Knowing that life is a battle, knowing that there will be challenges, here's how you keep at it in the midst of those challenges. Number one, emphasize managing your energy. Think about your mental, your physical, your emotional, and spiritual energy. They are all interconnected. Do not leave them to chance, and be intentional about managing them. Have a set of procedures and processes and routines for managing all of these. Point number two, have a mission, an overall objective. Any work can be fun for a short period when you're just doing it, but it gets a lot easier when there's a bigger target to aim at than just, let me just keep doing this job just because. And it's the same thing with the people around you. Give them and give yourself a bigger objective than just do the work every single day. Even though this show, I talk about doing the work every day, but it's the bigger goal that allows you to do the work every day. Number three, get help. You don't have to go the whole road alone, and help exists in many forms. Letting people follow along, letting people know what you're doing, masterminding with other people who may know things that you just don't know, or doing stuff that you haven't done before. All of these are ways of leveraging other people's energy and leveraging other people's experience, other people's knowledge, and let other people do the same thing with you. Human beings are social creatures. Connect with other people. Don't try to do everything by yourself. You can do a lot by yourself, but you can do a lot more leveraging through other people. And again, allowing those people to leverage you. We are all interconnected. Use that. Send me a text. Tell me the most valuable insight you got from today's masterclass. Tell me something you're going to think about or do differently, or something that you were thinking of doing differently back in the past, but you hadn't done in a while. Now that I've revived that thought in your mind through today's masterclass, you're going to do it. My number is 305-384-6894. Again, 305-384-6894. Work on your game. Dre all day.